In this lecture, we'll look at... Hello everyone and welcome. This will be a quick lecture on the replace method. In this lecture, we'll look at the replace method and how we can use the replace method in series and data frames. Let's start by creating a series object, and we'll save that series in a variable called ss. So pd.series, and then we'll pass a list of numbers. Let's say 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So if we call our series object, we have indexes 0 through 4 and values 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Let's say I want to replace the value 1 with 11. How can we do that? We can simply say series, our series object ss dot replace, and then in parentheses we pass what we want to replace. So we want to replace the value 1 with 11. So now we have our new value 11. Similarly, we can replace the value, let's say 5 with 22. So we simply call the replace method on our series object and pass what the value we want to replace and comma the new value. So whatever value, let's say 22. Now we have a new value at index 2. And we can also replace more than one value by passing them as a list. Let's see an example. So we have our series object and we call the replace method, and let's say we want to replace the values 1, 3, and 5 with, let's say, 10, 20, and 30. So we can simply pass them as a list. So we want to replace 1, 3, and 5, and then pass the new values as a list. So we want to replace them with, let's say, 10, 20, and 30. Okay. Now we have the new values 10, 20, and 30 instead of 1, 3, and 5. We can also replace values by passing them as a dictionary key and value combination. For instance, we have our series object. Let's say I want to replace 7 with 10 and 9 with 20. So we can simply call the replace method and then pass those values as a dictionary key and value combo. So the key will be the old value, which is 7, and the value will be the new value. Let's say I want to replace 7 with 10, and we want to replace 7 with 10, and I want to replace 9, which is the old value, with a new value, let's say 20. So simply run it. Now we have the new values 10 and 20 instead of 7 and 9. Now let's look at an example of this replace method on data frames. Let's create a data frame first, and we'll save this in a variable called dataframe3 pd.dataframe. Let's use a dictionary to create our data frame. Let's say x, and for values we'll pass a list of numbers. Let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Let's create another key and value combo. Let's say y, and for values we'll pass 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Okay, let's run it and see our data frame 3 object. So we have a 5 by 5 rows with two columns, and we can replace any specific values. For instance, let's say I want to replace 4 with some other value. So we have our data frame 3 object, and then we call the replace method, and we want to replace 4 with, let's say, 22. Run it. Now we have the new value 22 at index 1 for x. Similarly, we can also pass a key and value as a dictionary to replace, let's say I want to replace certain values. Let's say I want to replace values 8 and 9 with, let's say, 26. How can we do that? So we have our data frame 3 object. We call the replace method on it. And then we want to replace what? We want to replace this 8 and 9 with 26. So I want to replace the value 8 in my column X, right? So the value 8 in my column X, and then the value 9 in my column Y. The value 9 in my column Y. And I want to replace those values with 26. So I pass the column and value as key and value combo, and then we pass, so as a dictionary key and value combo, and then we pass the new value that we want to replace with, 26 in this case. Now instead of 8 and 9 we have 26. So this is what I have for this lecture. I just wanted to quickly show you how we can apply the replacement method to replace values in series and data frames. Thank you everyone.